So my issue for today involves my Super Chief Limited behind me and also my Indian Chief Dark Horse back there that's stripped down to the frame. But both of these bikes are rigged, and today I want to figure out whether or not I can bypass the security system on the bike. Because my issue is that when I got the Indian Chief Dark Horse, I did not have access to the rod command, which shows the mileage, the diagnostics information on the bike. I didn't have a key fob, so nor do I have a passcode to get into the bike. So I'm trying to understand whether or not we can get into that bike via use of the Super Chief Limited, because it's the exact same bike. It has the same parts on it, it's just a different trim. So to explain a little bit how this works, we got the brand new rod command right here. This is for the Indian Chief Dark Horse back there. And this device is simply a relay device. It controls, like, well, it shows you information like the mileage, the security state of the bike, diagnostics codes. It has the GPS in it. It controls the cruise control, or shows you the state of the cruise control and shows you the power modes. But what this device is simply a relay device. It does not really control anything of the bike, meaning without this, you can still ride the bike. It's completely rideable without it. But you can't change things like power modes and stuff like that. But this is the WCM, the security device for the motorcycle. The way that this works is it detects two things, either a key fob or a passcode. I don't have either for the bike, but on the Super Chief Limited, I have the key fob. So when I walk up to the bike, I can turn the bike on, start it up with the key fob, it detects it, it works. On the Indian Chief Dark Horse, I have neither. So my theory is, can I take the ECM from my Indian Chief Dark Horse, put it into the Super Chief Limited, and somehow bypass the WCM, because all this detects is a key fob and a passcode. So what I don't know is whether or not that's stored in here, and if this is locked to the ECM, meaning without the proper security system, the ECM won't work. So what I'll be able to show you guys is when I power up the rod command on the Super Chief Limited, we'll be presented with the passcode screen, which I don't have for either of these bikes, but I do have the key fob, and when I walk up to the bike, it will allow me into the bike. And then from there, we're going to swap the ECM between the Dark Horse and the Super Chief to see if I can get into the bike to at least see the mileage information and the diagnostics information. Because the reason being that's important is you want to know the mileage to know when was the last oil change on the bike. If I knew that the bike was at 10,000 miles, this should be right at the next oil change, or the tires are coming to the point of being changed. But if it's only 5,000 miles, I'll know, okay, the tires are probably still good, the seals in the motor or the seals in different areas of the bike are probably still good, and the bike's essentially brand new. So mileage gives us a lot of information, and of course if the bike had any engine codes or any issue, wiring issues, I'll be able to see that in the diagnostics of the bike.
Alright, showing you guys this, you can see that the bike is powering on, and we should get presented with the screen to click through and go into the bike because we have the key fob. And we're going to click OK. Alright, so you guys can see the bike has 556 miles on it.
Alright, so let me show you what this looks like if you don't have the key.
Alright, so we're getting the same power on, but you're getting that little indication right there about the security. So we're going to hit OK. Oh, don't even get that chance. Now you see where it says enter passcode.
That's the screen that we would get on the Indian Chief Dark Horse because we don't have the key fob. And also we don't have the passcode, and on this bike it's the exact same thing. So the only way we can get into it is with the key fob.
So now that we got the seat off, we can see the WCM right here. And this is also the antenna for the security system. And we're going to take this off, and then we'll have access to the battery. And then we take the battery out, and then we'll be able to get to the ECM. right, so we got WCM, ECM out of the Chief Dark Horse, and we got WCM and ECM out of the Super Chief. So we're going to take the ECM from the Dark Horse and the WCM from the Super Chief. We're going to pair these together and see if we can get the bike to, I guess, bypass this. Essentially, we're taking the computer from one bike and pairing it to the security system of another bike. When I try to explain it, it's pretty confusing, but the telltale sign is the mileage will be different if this works. So the Super Chief has a mileage of 550 miles on it, so this ECM should show something different. Alright, now that we got everything swapped over, we got the WCM from the Super Chief in the bike, and we got the ECM from the Dark Horse in the bike. So let's power on the bike without the key. I'll show you that we should get the same result with the little security light telling us we need the passcode. Alright, got powering on, which is good. It should bring up the little security light, which it did right there. Alright, so we don't know what the passcode is to the bike. Alright, now that we're getting that, let's get the key fob and pair it to the WCM on the Super Chief and see if it'll allow us into the bike. Alright, so we got the key fob. I'm gonna place it near the bike. Alright. Okay, so the first difference is we don't have the little security light on the side, which means that we may have gotten into the bike. Alright, we got the OK button, so let's click and see. Oh. Alright, so we're in the bike. Ah, look at that. It shows that we have 3,100 miles on this bike. So, if we navigate through the menus of the bike, let's see. See if we can see any diagnostics codes. Let's see, the VIN number is different. Let's see, let's go to bike, diagnostics. See, there's no codes, which is good to see. And also the oil service. Whoa, don't want to reset it. Click too fast. Doing 1,800 miles. All right, so that proved that this actually works. Right, the gauges 3,100. All right, so that proves that swapping the WCM from one bike that has a key fob right there with the ECM from another Indian Chief, you can actually still get into the bike. So what does this all mean? Well, it means that you can take the security module and the key fob from one bike and plug it into another bike, and it essentially works. The ECM and the WCM are not locked together, which means that you can take them and put them on any bike. Now, the nefarious side of that is that somebody could take one and put it on another bike and essentially ride off with it. So there is that aspect, but it's good to know that there's still some workability for us in there where we can, you know, if we have, in my case, two at my disposal, I can take one on one bike and put it on the other. Now, in my use case, I'll be taking the WCM and the key fob that I have that work together and plug it into the Dark Horse that I'm rebuilding right now, and I'll be able to actually ride to the dealership and just take the one that I, you know, the blank key fob and the WCM and say, hey, I need y'all to pair these together, because we still need a dealership to do that. And also, you can't change the passcode without knowing the previous passcode or going to a dealer or knowing the master code. And being that these all are wrecked bikes, I don't really know what those codes are, so I still have to go to a dealership to do that. But let me know what y'all think about the security aspect of this down below, and of course learning that, you know, how these bikes work together. But it's also good to know that this device, the Rod Command, does not store
any of that information, because that device can easily be ripped off of the bike or damaged in an accident, which is the case in one of these bikes. So if you didn't know, I'm actually giving away my 2013 Harley-Davidson V-Rod Muscle. I've already given away my 2022 Indian Chief Dark Horse on the channel. So if you want to get in on that, you can head over to my website by clicking right here and getting entered to win that bike. It's a V-Rod, man. Come on. It's liquid cool, it's fast as heck, and yeah, it's a V-Rod, right? And also, if you want to catch up on this series on these bikes and start from the very beginning, you can click right here and start that playlist. But as always, thanks for listening and thanks for watching. And if you're subscribed, which I hope you are, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.